All right. Hello and welcome, traders. Good morning, good afternoon, or even good evening, depending on where you're sitting. It's 10:30 a.m. here on the West Coast where I'm sitting in the greater Seattle area. And I'm Dean Jenkins. I'm the founder of FollowMeTrades.com. And this is our special live trading room, and we're going to be here watching as the minutes or the announcement from the FOMC meeting from yesterday and today are announced. So hey, Nestor, Scott, glad to have you here, everybody here. Lots of people still logging in. All right, so we got a half hour till the announcement comes out, so we'll get organized here. I'll go through the trade setup that I'm looking for, and we'll analyze where the market's at and take a look at some trades and be ready. And then when the announcement comes out, we'll see if there's a good trade setup and if we can demonstrate it. So before we get started, just a quick disclaimer. Everything presented in this room is for information education purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know your individual circumstances. I'm going to explain and demonstrate my trading rules, my setups, and if we get those setups, I'll demonstrate them on the live markets. But I'm not recommending a trade or an investment for anyone. Each individual, they're responsible for any trades or investments that they take. And again, I'm showing my method, my rules, for education information purposes. All right, Robert's calling in from Vancouver town. Vancouver, BC or Vancouver, Washington there, Robert? When we're here in Seattle, we have to always ask, right? Because there's one on each side. All right, lots of people still logging in. Welcome to everybody. Canada. So I was just up there on a motorcycle trip in July. Took the ferry across and rode through. Went up to Whistler and clear across to Banff. It was awesome. Beautiful country. All right, so the big deal, of course, coming up here is at 2 o'clock Eastern time, the FOMC meeting announcement, and of course at the same time they're going to give their forecast, and then at 2:30 there will be their press conference. So right as their announcement comes out and their forecasts and stuff, typically in the past, they have, it causes some pretty extreme volatility. There's big market moves. And we've got a setup that we look for. And if we get that setup, it can be a really, really good short-term day trade. And, this could set the direction for the market for the near term. So kind of a big deal. We had the, we have this live trading room Monday through Thursday every week. And this morning we watched the oil report come out, and that was volatile for sure. And we expect the same thing here from the FOMC meeting announcement. So it'll be anything but boring, I'm pretty sure. Certainly more interesting than the market was over most of the summer. Man, that was just the doldrums, wasn't it? Pretty hard to trade, whatever time frame you're trading if the market's not moving. But it's starting to shake up just a little bit here, so it's getting more interesting. Robert's asking, are they too scared to do anything? Man, I'm not a mind reader. I am not a mind reader. I don't know. I don't know. And, I used to be a fundamental trader for a long time, like 15 years. And I finally got hooked up with technical trading, and I love technical trading because we don't have to be mind readers. We don't have to try and guess how the market is going to react to news, information, fundamental data, any of that kind of stuff, because how they are reacting, how people are acting on the information that they have is clearly evident on the chart. And, the markets, which is a collection of all the participants, they do absolutely move in predictable cycles, or at least when they do move in predictable cycles, we can predict the next move. And I'll be demonstrating some of that today. So look forward to it. Xavier saying he cannot hear the sound. Everybody else can hear it okay, right? Everybody just quick sound check. Everybody can hear me? Yeah. So I'm going to respond to Xavier. Thank you. There. Good. Yeah, lots of people. Robert says usually a browser or speakers are muted or off or something. Yeah, no, making microphones and speakers work on a PC sometimes can be very frustrating. Get on Skype with people a lot, and we spend half the call with them fiddling around with computer settings. All right. So let me show you my trade setup that we've got going on here while we got a little bit of time. I've got a quick presentation. I call this the my use the news setup. I'm going to scroll down to the slides here. There. So like when there's a big news announcement, like the FOMC meeting announcement that's coming up. Okay. Xavier, you okay now? All right. So if you see this page here that I'm sharing, there's typically a big initial move, a big dramatic move when the news drops. What we look for, we don't want to try, in this case this is going down, we don't want to try and catch a falling knife and just jump into a trend. Now sometimes it can continue and we'll miss the trade. But when you have a trend like this, it can turn around at any given time and there's no way to predict that. So what we like to see is we get an initial big move, and once it's reversed, then we'll measure it with Fibonacci retracements, and we like to see a retracement right into that Fibonacci 38.2 to 61.8 level, and then reverse in the original direction. And we look for either an aggressive entry, you know, as a higher high, higher low, right? As it takes out that higher low, that can be an aggressive entry, and then a more conservative entry would be when it takes out that original low. So we'll try for this one right here. We want an initial move, a retracement, correction to that move, and then a lower low, lower high, new low, and we'll try and take a trade on that. And it works just the opposite way, going up, right? Big initial move up, a retracement, higher high, higher low, new high, aggressive entry. So that can work and be a really, really good setup. You know, no guarantee. No system produces 100% wins, but over time that has been a really, really good setup. So that's the one we'll be looking for as the report comes out right at 2 o'clock Eastern or 11 o'clock here on the Pacific Coast. I'm in the Seattle area, just south of Seattle. So while we're waiting and talking about, you know, where I'm sitting, where are you guys at? Type in maybe the city, the state, the country, wherever. Where are you calling in from? It's always fun to see the geographic dispersion. Columbus, Ohio, Houston, Bangkok. Reggie's in Bangkok. Awesome. Maryland, California, Bonners Ferry, Idaho from Richard. Is that North or South Idaho? Man, I love Coeur d'Alene. That's one of my favorite country. That's one of my favorite areas. Wales, Kansas City, Atlanta, Maine Coast, Indiana. Kevin from Christchurch, New Zealand. Wow. You might have the distance prize there, Kevin. Even farther than Bangkok. Sweden. Brett's calling in from Sweden. Toronto. Netherlands. Yeah, I got a good number of folks from Europe. That's awesome. San Antonio. My little sister lives down in San Antonio. Been down there a couple of times this year. Nigeria. No way, Jerry. You calling from Nigeria? Richard, 100 miles north of Coeur d'Alene. All right. I've been east and west. I've ridden out across 90, you know, through Coeur d'Alene. Man, I could live on that lake, man. Alexandre is from Sao Paulo. Newburgh, New York. Orlando, Florida. Uli from Germany. And Robert, Washington State. Great distribution, man. We got people all over the globe. I wish GoToWebinar we could make a little map, you know, from all the IP things. Trinidad and Tobago. Wow. I think Christchurch gets the record, man. I think you're like on the other side of the planet from pretty much from Washington State. I actually got to go to New Zealand. I was there 3 different cities, but not Christchurch for some reason. I was in the Navy a long time ago, and we went to New Zealand. Protesters met us on the pier. That was fun. The world is watching the Fed. Amen, right? Big deal. It's a big deal. The world was watching the Bank of Japan earlier today, and they made their announcement. Robert saying Washington was part of BC up till 1646. Well, if you go back far enough, I guess it was all part of something, right? 1846. All right. Not a problem. Yeah, Wayne's saying 2-minute ES is in the cloud, the Ichimoku cloud. Yeah, we're this close to the minutes. We're not going to take any trades till afterwards, though. Yeah. So let's go ahead and switch over and take a look at the charts now. Switch my screen over. So here's my day trade chart setup. You can see I've got in our live trading room, we track over here on the right. We've got the E-mini S&P 500 futures contract. In the middle, we've got gold, and on the left, we've got oil. All three futures contracts. Along the top row are 10-minute charts. And intraday, I like the 10-minute for kind of the big trend. You know, what's the big trend? Because we want to trade with the trend, or at least know if we're going counter trend. And then you can see I'm using Ichimoku Cloud on my indicators, on my charts. And I use a combination of Elliott Wave and Ichimoku Cloud. And I find I call it when East meets West, when two great trading systems agree, man, that can be a really powerful combination and a really powerful signal for a trade. So that trade setup that I talked about earlier, that's not using Ichimoku Cloud. It's using some components of Elliott Wave. It's using Fibonacci retracements. But that's just almost like a scalp, right? Trying to catch an impulsive move that may turn into a trend. So that's not using Ichimoku Cloud. All right. But that's my primary trading tools is Ichimoku Cloud, Elliott Wave. Okay. So again, 10-minute charts across the top for the big trend intraday, and then along the bottom are range charts. And I really like range charts for intraday. So range charts, if you aren't familiar, they have no time component. So like a tick chart, they are completely independent of time. The way a range chart works is whatever you set it at, and I've got the ES set at 5 ticks. So 1.25 points, 5 ticks for the ES. Whenever price moves beyond 5 ticks, it just paints a new bar. Okay, and so I like that because it's pure price movement, no time. So I got a 5-tick range chart on ES, and then for gold and oil, for both of those, I use 8-tick. On gold, it's 0.8, and on oil, it's 0.08. So we're probably just going to shut our oil charts down at this point and just focus on gold and ES for the FOMC announcement, because those are really the ones that are going to be affected by the by interest rates and all that stuff. So let's just rearrange the display here and get focused on gold and on oil, gold and ES rather. There, get a little more real estate on those. Good. Okay, so the ES 10-minute chart, pretty sloppy right now, pretty messy chart. Here's the move early this morning when the Bank of Japan made their update on stimulus. Bank of Japan said they are going to keep their interest rates where they're at, slightly negative. Whoever heard of, if you're, my generation, I'm in my mid-50s, right? That's the first time in my lifetime where, we've had a negative interest rate anywhere in the world. That's pretty crazy. Anyway, they're going to keep their interest rates slightly negative. They're going to remove their, right now, both the Bank of Japan and the Federal Reserve had a interest rate target, a benchmark interest rate target of 2%. And the Bank of Japan has removed that, and they are okay with letting inflation go over 2%. So that's really kind of interesting. The Fed, their main two charters are control interest or control inflation and full employment. And so they strive for 2% inflation. right? Which they believe is a sign of a healthy, sustainable economy. And we're well below that. They're just worried that it would, once it starts climbing, it would shoot out of control and, get back into the Carter era of double-digit inflation, which is really, really bad. So their whole deal with interest rates is try to stimulate and then slow down so we don't have interest rates go too high. So Bank of Japan made their announcement. The market popped up, and you can see it has completely retraced, gone below that now, and it's negative and heading down. Now, it's not below yesterday's close, so we're up a couple of points from yesterday's close, but clearly in a down pattern. If you look at this in terms of a lower low, lower high, lower low, we have a downtrend, right? It's below the Ichimoku cloud. We've got a negative oscillator. We've got a red PTF. These are tools from traderscoach.com. So right now heading down, but once the news drops, in the short term, it could go either direction. So we'll just keep watching that. Gold, of course, heading up. It's always nice because, gold and the equity markets in the big picture are inversely correlated. They move in opposite directions over the long term and in the big picture, but not always intraday. Sometimes they'll move together intraday, but it's always a little more comfortable when they move opposite each other. It's, kind of like the natural order. It just seems more better. So from last night up through this morning, gold's been on a pretty big tear here, made some pretty big gains. You can see it's flattening out and it's coming down and testing the clouds. Now we're going to have to see if it's going to penetrate the cloud and get a corrective wave before taking the next leg up. Let's have to keep watching that. Again, the FOMC is going to be the big deal. Wayne saying this morning we had a nice, all you hear on the 5-range chart, yeah, we had we've got a setup I look for. I've got trading rules on my Ichimoku cloud 5-range chart, comparing it to the 10-minute trend, and there was a really nice short setup there. It was after our trading room closes. We were in the trading room this morning from 6:15 until 8 a.m. That's our normal hours, and we got 0 trades, had 0 trade setups. It's just that kind of day. But there was a nice short setup there, and that would have been a pretty good one. That would have been, how many points, right? 39, and we probably would have got out down here. 33, yeah, 6-point trade, 5 or 6-point trade. I'll take that. Not too bad. All right, we got about 12 minutes until the report comes out. I'm going to go ahead and tee up my chart trading capability here so that if we do get a setup, I'll be ready. Again, no guarantee we'll get a setup, no guarantee it'll be a winner, but pretty high probability if we do get it. And it'll be fun to watch anyway. If you haven't been watching the market closely before, these futures contracts, when the big report like this comes out, it's pretty dramatic. And you definitely don't want to be, at least in a short-term position, with a fairly tight stop. I don't want to be in these instruments as this big news comes out, because you can get a big wick, that goes both directions while it's stabilizing, and you could be right about the direction that it's going to go. You can be right about the trend, and you can still get stopped out and get a bunch of slippage and lose money. And that's like the worst trade ever, isn't it? When you're right and you lose money. So I try to avoid that situation at all costs. Usually as we get closer and closer, we'll get a little twitchy, right? This will move erratically without any real pattern or definition, and that's not an environment we want to be trading in either. So we're certainly not going to take any trades until the news comes out, this close to it. And we'll just wait and see how it plays out. So this is a good time. We got about 10 minutes. Got any questions about the charts here, about the trading room, about pretty much anything? Happy to field any questions, offer my opinion. Scott says the volume. Yeah, you can just look at the trading here. Usually this is 400 or 500 at all times. And what's the volume here so far today is 1 million. So that's probably a little bit off from this time in the day. Not much, but it sure is slowing down. And again, everybody's waiting. Yeah, Kush asking, what's the chart set up? What are the indicators? So I've got Ichimoku Cloud on here. I've got proprietary settings. So I don't use the default settings. I've got my own settings for that. And I have a whole course, a whole training module on my Ichimoku method. But I've also got the ART, Applied Reality Trading Indicators. And that's these pyramids here. So the pyramids, this oscillator, and this thing that looks like RSI but is different down here called the Precision Trend Filter. These are all part of the Applied Reality Trading Tools from traderscoach.com. Yeah. Yeah, Cash. Sorry if they're confusing. It's pretty simple once you understand the concepts. And folks that are in the trading room every day, I think, understand what we're looking for, and it becomes pretty clear. But we do have the course. Yeah, the Ichimoku Cloud course. And I can put a link up for that pretty quick here. If anybody's interested. We launched that last month, and boy, the feedback was phenomenal. I was really pleased with the feedback that we got on the Ichimoku Cloud course. Real straightforward. I sat through a lot of Ichimoku Cloud training as I was trying to learn it, and a lot of it's confusing. And I'm a simple guy, and I just try to simplify things. So I came up with a very simple, repeatable way to interpret the Ichimoku Cloud. And as part of that, I did some testing on the optimum settings. And so I changed the factory settings on them. I made them based on Fibonacci numbers, which I think there's, the market respects Fibonacci levels, right? Fibonacci levels are observed all over in nature and in all complex systems. So it just stands to reason that it would apply to these indicators as well, and it sure does. Lots of lines like spaghetti. Well, I'm using Fibonacci retracement lines, and it can get a little bit busy, and I mark key support and resistance levels. Like that one's not anymore, so let's get rid of it. So how far out are we? 8 minutes. We got time. So I'll post it in the chat area here, or there, Cash. I'll post it there. If you're interested in the course, put it there. I'll put it in the chat area. Anybody's interested in the Ichimoku Cloud course, of course, I'd be happy to have you take it. List price for the course is $159. I posted a link here. There's a 38% discount. You can get it for $99. And that includes complete support. I'll answer any questions you have by email. There's about a 20-page PDF that you can study, and then there's several hours of training videos recorded with examples, on live markets. And then you can send me an email, or if you want, we can set up time and talk. I'm happy to go through anything with you one-on-one as part of that course. Yeah, you're welcome, Cash. And again, it's there for anybody else that's interested. What trades am I planning based on the Fed comments? Well, I'm looking here at I'm going to try and find a setup here on just a short-term intraday, day trade here on gold futures and on the ES futures. And then, I run a stock picking service, and I've got several, based on whatever trend develops out of this, I've got several picks that I'm planning, that I'm watching, and then the ones that are triggered and qualified, I'll publish to my stock pick subscribers. So we might be going up, we might be going down. And Raju's asking, what's up with the triangles? Yeah, these are called pyramid trading points. Dow theory tells us that an uptrend moves in higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, till it's over. So these pyramids call out key higher high, higher low sequences in an uptrend. That's the green pyramids. So these are written by Bennett McDowell of traderscoach.com, And simply when the ratio of the up leg to the down leg, the momentum of time of price and volume criteria are met, then he paints a pyramid here. And you take an entry at the peak and you put your stop at the base and you trail it up to the base. And they do real well in trends. You can see this down here, right? These pyramids kept you in the trend really, really nicely. So that's what the pyramids are about. Yeah, you're welcome, Raju. So how we're 5 minutes out here. I just want to make sure we keep an eye on the clock and be ready if we get that setup that I'm looking for. So I explained it once before. Real quick, anybody that's joined since then, we're looking for an initial move, and we want to measure a correction from the initial move. We want a 38.2 to 61.8 Fibonacci correction, and then a high, higher low, new high. On an uptrend, on a downtrend, we want the exact opposite. An initial move, retracement, boom, 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 and we would take an aggressive entry right there. This is being recorded too if you want to come back and watch it later. So I'll be sending a link out to the recording. Wow, great turnout in the room. We've got a couple hundred folks here. Thanks for showing up. And we're counting it down here. It's going to be exciting, that's for sure. Won't be dull for a moment. Or maybe dull for just a moment until it launches. On a bigger term time frame, here's the S&P 500 on a daily chart. Doesn't it look like we've got a top? It just does to me. Now it's done this before, but man, when you go to a higher time frame, we've been in a bull market for 7 years. 7 years, right? From early 09 up till now. And boy, just look how all the momentum's coming out of it. Now the Ichimoku cloud's calling for some support down here. So it may not correct down through it yet, but when it does correct, and it will, if it corrects, if that is the top, it's going down to 1674 to what, 13 something. That's just a normal, healthy, ongoing market cycle thing. That's not drama. The buy and hold people, that's going to hurt, right? That's going to hurt. And there's no reason for that. Boy, if you're informed, you got some tools, you can make a lot of money when it goes down. You can make money faster going down than going up, that's for sure. William's asking, hey, thanks for this. You're welcome. Can you trade this setup on gold ETFs, Nugget or Dust? Yeah, you can. They're a little bit lower volume than futures. The ES is, one of the highest volume, well, it's the highest volume futures instrument out there. You probably have to go to a little bit higher time frame, maybe a 3 or 5 minute. And you could trade that with options. I love trading ETFs with options, and those are certainly high volume. I know Nugget is. I'm not sure about Dust, but like JNUG and NUGT, I think it is. Those are high volume deals. You could also trade this. A fun way to trade this is with the VIX ETFs, UVXY, VIXX, and you can get some good trades on that as well. I would prefer to trade the VIX ETFs over the gold ETFs. They are monster volume. They have deep option contracts, in terms of open interest and volume, and really, really tight bid and ask spreads. If you're right, you go the right direction on that. You can do real well. We did that last week, and we did really well on it. All right, counting it down. We're seconds away. Since we're looking at range bars, when the big initial move happens, right, it's going to paint like 10 or 20 bars or more in a row. It's going to be kind of impressive. You'll be able to see it on the 10-minute chart just as a big wick, right? But it'll paint lots and lots of bars, and we'll just look for that initial big move, and then we'll look for a correction to it, and then the next direction. And we may not get the setup we're looking for, but sometimes we do. It's like going fishing, right? They're not always biting, but when they are, it's fun. Boom. So the initial move on gold is up. Let's see if it retraces. That was a big retracement. That was way more. I can already see that was way more than 61.8. So no change in rates is what BK says watching the news there. But now everybody's got to read the tea leaves and said, what was, was he leaning to the left or the right? How did Janet part her hair? Right? What does it all mean? So gold, the initial move is just up and down. So we don't have anything to measure a retracement from. It's kind of 100%, And that's the kind of thing I was saying. If you're in a trade with tight stops, you're going to get stopped out, and you may even get slippage in a big move like that. And that slippage is no good when you got a market order, stop order. Let's just let it settle out and see here. So it looks like ES is heading up a little bit here. So the initial move on ES is up. It's impulsive. Right, here's the kind of the first price bars. Let's measure this move here, and let's just see if we get so there's a retracement there. It's in the zone, so let's see if it reverses up, and if it does, we'll try and grab along on it. Gold didn't have quite as clear a pattern there. And look how ES is heading down right to the cloud. We'll see if the cloud can offer support. So let's see if it heads up off of that. I'm watching ES a little more closely. It's a little more predictable here. This gold move is pretty erratic. It didn't really fit the pattern we were looking for. We've got a high. Let's see if we get so if we get a pullback and a new high, that's ideal. And if it goes and puts in a new high, then we seriously got a trend going on. We'll take that too. So here we got an initial, here's the retracement, higher high. Is it going to reverse or put in a new low? Let's see. So this would be the perfect move. So I'm going to stage an order right here above this high. If it puts in a new high, that's a good entry right there. That's exactly the pattern I showed you earlier. And we would put our stop down here under the low. All right, we're in. See if that works out. You notice I just took one contract here. In a volatile market like this, we're going to play small trades. If a real trend gets underway, well, then we would scale in. We would add to the position, but for now we're going to be a little conservative. That way if it's a loser, it doesn't hurt too bad. There we go. Maybe. Struggling against this level right here. It's touched it 3 times. If it can get through it, it might have some hope. And it will invalidate this bearish pyramid. If we go one tick above, this yellow pyramid means a potential. It'll be confirmed if price goes one tick below about the time we get stopped out. If it goes a tick above, it'll just go away and be invalidated. Come on, ES, head up, bust through. It helps to talk to the charts. I found that may not move price, but it makes you feel better. Still pretty light volume. Somebody made that comment earlier, and it's a little bit light volume, surprisingly. Cash, is that like talking to your plants? Yeah, your plants probably respond to talk more than your charts do, but we've got three conflicting potential pyramids here. So it's stuck in a range here. It's about a 8-tick range. Here we go. Bust out. Do it. So I'm going to trail my stop now up to the bottom of this latest pyramid. 1 tick below it. Right there. If we take out this high right here, I'm going to scale in. I'm going to add a contract because that's kind of a resistance level. That would mean that we maybe have a trend. There we go. So I'm going to add a contract on. I'm going to scale in, which we can only do after we have moved our stop. I didn't move it much, but it's enough. So I'm going to add a contract. And then roll up my stop here to 2. So it's still, now that I've moved my stop up, right, even if I get stopped out on 2, it's not going to hurt too bad, right? We don't want any loss. But now that it put in a new high, that really tells us that we could have a trend, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and that's what we want to tap into. It's worth taking this risk to try and tap into a trend and to add a share on, right? And we are up against these previous highs here. We are up against that. That's a bit of a concern. Gold took off, didn't it? It never really, it had this initial move which did not meet the pattern I was trying to show you before, right? Big move down, big retracement, right? That's just big swings. We could have measured off of that one. That would have been a nice setup. I was busy with the ES trade. There, if we look at that move, that retracement, and then higher high, higher low, almost, well, that was lower. No, that was good. So higher high, higher low, new high, that would have been a good entry, and gold's off to the races, but we were watching ES and missed it. Only human. I can multitask, 2 or 3 things at once, but 4, it kind of pushes me. Johnny says, just joined. What did Yellen say? I don't know. I'm watching the charts. Somebody else said no change on rates, but I don't know what the time frame or context of that was. Anybody got the latest on what the chairwoman said? Now, if we go see this pyramid just starting to form, we're going to trail our stop to here, under the base here. This will be confirmed if it goes 1 tick above. We'll be trailing our stop. That'd be really good news. 1 change before the end of the year is what BK says. Lowered the number and scale of hikes next year. And I wish if they're going to do it, I wish they'd just do it, What I just tired of the market, being at the top of the market and trading in a tight range. There's going to be a correction. I wish it would just get started, man. We're going to make some good money when it gets going. T says probably wouldn't do it before the election. Yeah, the election could be the catalyst for a correction in the market to begin. I heard Mark Cuban last week being interviewed saying, oh, if Trump gets elected, that's going to cause the market to crash. Well, I think he's half right. I think the market hates uncertainty. The market's not crazy about either candidate, and the whole country's not crazy about either candidate for the most part. And uh, uh, whoever gets elected, I think that could be the catalyzing event that could start the market correction. You know, it's time anyway. It's a natural time in the cycle, and so it may be for different reasons, right? Different concerns about the different candidates, but I think that could be absolutely be the catalyst. All right, we got this pyramid confirmed. We're going to trail our stop up to the base, just like we said right there, and we're in pretty nice profit on this one. How's this looking, huh? Pretty fun. What we're going to do now, this is meant to be a short-term trade, so if we get a reversal, one bar closing red, we're going to go ahead and take profit, take one contract off and grab that profit. We'll let it run till we get a reversal. But this is pretty nice. I'm happy with this. So we're long, so we would sell market one, right? Everything's set up right. Yeah, we missed that gold one while we were watching the ES, but it's okay. There, we had a red bar. So I took one off. So we got a couple hundred profit on that one. Yeah, 200, 196.40. That's not bad. I'll take that. And we've got our stop here. Now we're just going to let this thing run. As it puts in higher highs, higher lows, new highs, we'll trail our stop up and just stay with this trend for as long as it'll go. We let the market take us out on our final contract there. It's good to lock in profit as it goes, but so see now it went up, put in a higher low. If we put in a higher high, we'll trail our stop up to there. Roger says he got into the gold. Good for you, man. Up 1,000. Pivot at 1250.20, says BK, which should be resistance. What time frame are you seeing that on? Daily for today. Okay. Was that the high? I thought the high was here. Oh, you're looking here. $21.50. I see it at 46 on the 10-minute chart. Oh, persons. Okay. Yeah, I'm not following John's method. You said pivots. I thought maybe you were talking about. You've been talking to Alla. Alla's big on pivots. So this is pretty much what we do. This live trading room is running the normal live trading room. Now we got a lower low, and so far, if this lower high fails, if it goes down, what I'm going to do is going to trail my stop up here. I'm not going to give this thing away, right? That could mean the trend is changing, and I want to be out of it. This was always meant to be a short-term trade, so lower low, lower high, new low would mean the trend is changing back down. So we're going to tighten up on the stop there and not give it away. And that's the right place. If this pyramid gets confirmed, then that's where our stop's going anyway. So anyway, I was saying this is what we do. In addition, we analyze stocks, overall market, look for good trades. If the market's slow, like today, we did some scanning, looking for good stock trade setups. So if you're interested in joining the room, you're not a member, love to have you come. Putting up a link. 30% discount, so it's only $27 a month. We're in here 4 days a week, 2 hours a day. So the link is there on the chat section if you'd like to get a discount and come check it out. Try it for a month. $27, pretty cheap. Is it gonna go? Kush says, what are the hours? It's 6:15 to 8 a.m. Pacific time, so that's 9:15 to 11 East Coast time. We just come in right before the open, before the New York Open, and we'll spend an hour and a half, after the open, seeing if we got any trades, and then laying out a roadmap for the rest of the day. Where do we think the trends are going to go? What trades to look for the rest of the day? Again, we analyze some longer-term stocks. Yeah, in the room, we trade ES, gold, and oil futures. And then, all right, so we're out of this one. So it's a winner, nice little winner. We managed it pretty well. Could be turning around. Gold could be reversing, setting up for its corrective move right now too. Yeah. Pretty sharp reversal here on ES. So looks like the Dow is lagging the S&P by quite a bit, and the NASDAQ. Hey, close. I made a mistake. I didn't lower my stop down to one contract after I scaled out. It's like, why is that still open? There we go. So that's the trade the news setup, man. We saw it in action. It worked out okay on the ES. Wasn't a home run, but it was a nice little winner. Worked out pretty good. It would have worked on gold, but while I was placing and managing that trade, the setup on gold happened. But sounds like somebody caught it. I don't know if, Roger, what method you were using, but if we'd just been focused on gold, we would have had it right there. Nice move, nice retracement, right? No. Yeah, here it is. Nice move, nice retracement, higher high, higher low, new high, boom, in for that whole trend. Our stop would be here. We'd still be in that. That'd be, man, if our entry was here, say 1330, 35, 5 points on gold, it's 500 a contract. That's pretty nice. We would have scaled in. So pretty good setup when you get it, and it shows up pretty often, not every time. As I mentioned, we have a stock picking service, and that's doing real well for the year. We're up over 20% in the portfolio. Longer term trades, 4 to 6 weeks we're in. We give the stock trade parameters, and we have a partner option trade. So the subscribers, whether they want to trade with shares or trade with options, I give the specs on both. But here's a trade we're in, man. We're just loving this thing. We're about ready to probably close this before too long. This is a biotech over the last few months has been, while the S&P sat there and did nothing, some of the biotechs did really, really well. And this is one, Clovis Oncology. So we got into this one back in July at 1742. We've taken profit twice. We got our stop way up above here, sitting at 3509. We're about 70% profit on this because we scaled out early, right? We're just trailing our stop up till the trend is over. That's been a beautiful trade. Here's another one we're in, WMB. We got in way down here, 22.25. Got our stop up here. We scaled out. It's at 30.77. We're sitting at a really solid profit. We're short Disney. Get this trade right, you can get yourself and you and your family a trip to Disney. I said I use Elliott wave. Really nice wave 3. Perfect wave 4 retracement into the Fibonacci zone, and then Fibonacci extensions giving us a nice target zone down here in the green. And once it broke under the cloud, we took this short, and we're in nice profit and got a long way to go. So those are examples of some of the trades we're taking with the stock pick service. It's going well. If you'd like to give that a shot, you can do it for $7. $7 for a 10-day trial. You get 2 weeks worth of picks. I'll post that link there if you want to check that out. We're doing well with the stock pick service. It's got a live chat room twice a week. That's included as part of the package. Wednesday morning and evening, we have a live chat and we go through the stocks, answer any questions, all that. Lots of training material. Yeah. William, so you said you're very interested in the stock picks, William? We got that link there if you're interested. Johnny's asking if I use the cloud to set my stops. No, I use the cloud primarily for trend confirmation. I like to see things break through the cloud, and it's a pretty high probability support and resistance defined by the cloud. But I use the pyramids and I use Dow theory to actually set and manage my stops, Johnny. I use higher high, higher low, right, sequences, and as like I just did on this S&P, right, we trailed our stop to the pyramid, but then as we saw a higher high, higher low, and then a new low, higher low, new low, right, we trailed our stop right to there and got out, right. So I use the pyramids and Dow theory, right, because Dow theory is really helpful. It tells you when trends are intact and when they change, because it says an uptrend is higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, till it's not. Then it's lower, a new low, higher low, new low, trend over, changed. So I use that. Yeah, Nestor, I do provide. So like on Disney, I was showing you that trade, right? So every trade I take on longer term charts, every trade I take, I have an entry point, an entry, which is the light blue line. I have a stop and I have a target. Stop is red, target's green. And so I publish that. And I say, okay, we're going to go short on Disney if it gets down to 94.55. Our initial stop's up here at 99.47. We got a target, 85.54, 64. And then I publish an option contract. So I'm trading this one with the, I love trading with options. If there's an option, I'm doing it, right? I'm trading this one with the January 100 put. And there's a max premium I'm willing to pay for that, and I publish that to the subscribers. So, hey, I go, hey, I'm going short on Disney. If it gets down to the trigger, we're going short. I'm going to trade it with the January 100 strike price put, and I'll pay up to $500 per contract, right? And then as the trade plays out, as we trail our stop, take profit and stuff, I send those updates out, midweek, at least once a week on the weekend, and midweek we have a chat session where you can ask questions and I walk through the chart and explain the trade, what's going on. Yeah, Nestor, you're welcome. $7 for 10 days and take a trial. See if it's for you. If it's not, no hard feelings. If it is, stay. Most people stay because they're making money. We're making money, so it's well worth the cost. All right, gold got a pretty nice retracement. Now this could be giving us an Elliott wave setup here. It looks like it is. So it may not happen while we're here in the room, but the way we analyze this is we look, where did this move start? It started right here. Here's the absolute low. So this is wave 1, this is wave 2, this is wave 3. We're going to measure from wave 2 to wave 3, measure the Fibonacci retracement. We want to see it retrace between these blue lines. Well, look where it's perfect. So if it reverses and heads up from here and proves that the next wave, wave 5, is starting with higher high, higher low, new high, ideally clear the cloud, then the target zone for that, we use Fibonacci extensions. We go from 2 to 3 to 4. And so the target zone for gold is up here, 1340 to 1345, if this holds, right? We need to see a higher high, higher low, new high, and ideally clear the cloud. And then this would be the target zone. Tara says, sold the Euro USD, bad move. I'm not watching that, but bummer, man. Sorry. Hopefully you use risk management. That's a key part of our trading, is always limiting the amount that we're going to lose on a trade. Like I showed on my stock chart, right? We always go in with a stop, and we use the stop to determine our position size. I'm not willing to lose more than 2% of my account on any given trade. So take 2% of my account, $100,000 account, for example, $2,000 is 2%. And so I'd take the entry minus the stop, that's the loss per share, divided into 2,000, tells me how many shares to buy. So if it hits the stop, I never lose more than 2%. And then I do the same thing with options, right? I project what the option price would be at the stop price, and then make sure I'm not going to lose more than 2% of my account on any trade. If I can control my loss, right, and make sure that I only take trades that have the potential to win more than they lose, and I can, I don't even have to win half my trades, right? If I get winners that are double the size of my losers, right, I can have a 40% win rate and still be very profitable. My win rate's up at long-term about 65%. My payout ratio is about 2.5. So if I win 65% of my trades and the ones that win are 2.5 times bigger than the ones that lose, I'm profitable. It's a mathematic certainty as long as I can maintain that performance. That's how I do it. For ES, yes, we got a nice pattern forming here. Look, we got this pyramid. So you could take an aggressive long on gold now, or you could be conservative and let it clear this cloud up at about, by the time it gets there, it's going to be right here at about 1337. Okay, so that's a pretty nice pattern. And what about ES? Yeah, what about it? So let's redo this. So this trend started here. There's wave 2. So you got to go, anything that went lower than any of these doesn't count. So this is 2. This is 3. It's not a great wave. 3. And it looks like it may have retraced too deep. So let's do this from here to here. Yeah, it's too deep. So if it goes past the 76.4 line, which it just did, then it's too deep to be a wave 4. And so we can't project a wave 5 from this anymore. So it's just a complex correction, kind of a volatile thing. So no prediction on ES, but gold, that's a really clear picture. That's really nice. It's a high probability trade. Wave 5 trades are nice because you had 4 waves that fit known parameters. You have a pattern, right? That if the first 4 parts of a pattern fit beautifully, pretty high probability that the 5th part's going to fall right into place. So it's kind of nice. This one broke the pattern, so we don't know what's going to happen with it. Daryl's asking, what's the mechanics of how I project the option price versus the stock price? I use the option calculator, which is on the website for CBOE, Chicago Board Options Exchange. They have a really nice calculator, and it's very sophisticated, and you can plug in any contract. You type in a symbol, and it'll load the option chain and the current implied volatility, and then you can type in a future price for the stock, pick an expiration date and a strike price, and it'll project what the premium for that contract would be at that price in the future. That's pretty cool. Of course, I have an options course. I'm just getting ready to kick off a big promotion. I've got a webinar Friday night and Saturday where I'm going to talk about options. Yeah, I'll post the link for the webinar, you bet. Let me get there. Yeah. And then I'm going to be kicking it off with a big webinar, and then of course I'm going to offer my course at a 50% discount. So let me get you the link to the oh, come on, I thought you wanted my webinar, GW. You want the CME tool. Come on. Also, Okay. Okay. So here, I'll show you the CME tool first, or CBOE. It's CBOE. Google. So here's how you get there. The link is long. You just go to Google, option calculator. I think that's it. I volatility. There it is, options calculator. So you can, like, here we go, Disney. Type in a symbol. Isn't that cool? It loads up interest rate, volatility, dividend date, all that stuff, right? And then you can pick your strike price. Like here's my, I'm trading with a 100 put, 100 put, expiration date. I got the January there. And so what's Disney at? Here we go. Disney is at, well, here's my stop. So my stop is at 99.47. So I can put in price 99.47, calculate, and it'll tell me, hey, the premium on that contract at 99.47 as of today would be 4.4, and so I can decide, you know, what my loss would be if I hit that stop, right? And I can also go look at what my gain would be at my target. So that's pretty slick. So that's that calculator. Yeah, gold just went lower. Now it hasn't gone below, so we can just readjust wave 4 as long as it stays above this right here. And I said that was an aggressive entry. A conservative would be wait, so it didn't break the cloud. So as long as it stays above 76.4, it's still a valid wave 4. If it breaks through that, then it's kind of like the ES. It's a mess. We don't know what's next. Okay. John wants to know how he gets this recording. I'll send it out to everybody who registered, as long as it records and renders correctly. You bet. The options webinar. I'm going to send you. I'm going to give you the link to that. Clayton says, it's a great experience. Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad you showed up, Clayton. Glad you found it valuable. Scott's got to go deal with clients, just like this morning, right? Scott's in our live trading room, and he had to go talk to customers in too. It's like, man, how am I supposed to get any work done with all these customers bugging me? Oh, Yellen's talking now, so it's the press, the briefing is starting now. So we'll probably get some volatility. It's a good time to sit it out and just wait for real trends to emerge, like this gold one. See if it, starts back up, gets above the cloud. As she's talking, everybody's going to be, trying to read the tea leaves and figure it out. I'm getting a little warning from GoToWebinar. You may be experiencing decreased sound quality. Is it good? Everybody hear me okay? Okay. Great. Daryl, can I do a quick review of setup for your on-screen trading order bar? Yeah, there's no configuration, Daryl. What I do is you can set the number of contracts here, and you can choose the OSO order. I just go with one stop right? If you're going to place multiple orders, you can choose, one. I like to go one stop and a couple limits, maybe, to hit them and put your limits up at the targets. But with the current method, where I just start with one, right? You just number of contracts, attach an OSO, exit stop only. You can pre-configure the offset, and I just have it like 15 ticks away, and then I fine tune it. I get it where I want it once the order's in. Was that what you're looking for, Daryl? Here's the options webinar. My team member, my graphics person, I thought she did an awesome graphic here. Market uncertainty keeping you up at night? You can rest easy. We're going to go through our option strategy here. It's going to be 2 times, Friday evening, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 Eastern, or Saturday morning, 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern. So if you would like to attend that webinar, again, it's free. I just walk through some option ideas, keep it real simple. There is a link so you can sign up for that webinar. And of course, at the end, I'll be making an offer on my option course, 50% off. If you go, man, I just want the course, I don't need the webinar, I just want it, I'll give it to you right now. Here's the link for the course. 50% off, options basic course, 6 modules. And man, we got great feedback on that. If you really want to learn about options and how to keep it really safe, keep it really simple, minimize risk, you learn my entire strategy, how I pick the right contract, a lot of basics on there, how options work, dig into the Greeks, how to place orders. We got several video recordings on, walking through charts and explaining it, and option chains, and then we have a live trading session where we actually place and manage option orders. So it's cool. Yeah, Daryl, I use Option Station Pro for my analysis from the TradeStation add-in. Well, there goes gold. So that's a trade setup right there. Let's readjust the. Just the one thing you got to worry about is Yellen's on the microphone. So could she say something that would cause things to turn? Yeah, she could. So have a stop in place. But there's the target. Nice entry right now and a stop here. In fact, I'll go ahead and place that order. I'll take it. And then the stop would be under this pyramid right here. And that's a really big stop. Oh, I had my default setting of 3 contracts. That's why. Let me get back to 1. Oops. I was going, man, that's a huge there. I should have just let it run, huh? But there's one of the things. I have a top 10 trading tips. If you make a mistake, don't make it worse. Right? If you make a mistake, back it out. Stick to your risk management rules. Hey, Richard. Okay, man. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the nice comments there. Think about joining the room if you're interested. We're here every week, Monday through Thursday. This is what we do. Yeah. Yeah, so I think this could be a nice trade here on gold. And we'll let this one run. This may take some time. And so we probably won't have enough time in the room here. See how it's got a higher high, pull back to a low. If it makes a new high, we're going to trail our stop right to there. We might get a pyramid, but even if we don't, we'll trail our stop up to that, and that'll be just above break even. And boy, once you're in a trade for free, that's where you like to be, isn't it? Where then you can really wait it out. So I'll post the link one more time for the live trading room if you'd like to join. Check it out for a month and see if it's worth your time. There's the link, 30% discount, only $27 a month. Uh-oh, that's coming down pretty sharp, isn't it? That cloud should provide some support. We got a really nice clear wave count here. So there it's reversing so far. Well, we got one winner for sure on the ES, right? So that's good. That was a fun little trade. Well, let's see. It's 11:41. We'll wait till 11:45 and we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Okay. So if you got any other questions, BK says, Janet's done. Now the talking heads are going to dissect the tea leaves for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, so if you got any more questions or comments, this is a good time. What's ES doing now? So ES is back up. So we had, remember that was too deep to be a wave 4, although it didn't close. It did not close below the 76.4. So you could make a case that that was just an extreme wave 4 and this is going to be 5. You could talk yourself into that and it would be okay. It would be okay. Marginal, but okay. So if you thought that that was, uh-oh, gold's gonna take us out, that's no fun. Tim said, thank you for a glimpse of a new world. Robert, hey. Well, good, Tim. I'm glad you saw something you knew, hopefully something you liked. This is what we do, man. So ES could be heading up into a 5. And if it were, what would the target be? It would be here. Almost there already. The deeper this goes, the lower the target for 5 is. That's how it works. Tim likes a fast pace. All right. Yeah, it's like it's in the target zone now. It is magical how often these predictions are accurate. When you get clear waves, they're pretty accurate. Uh-oh, nothing magical about getting stopped out on gold. We got stopped out on gold. All right. Hey, we're still up for the day, so he's crying over spilled trades. Daryl, yeah, that's frustrating. He's having trouble with TradeStation. I don't know. Have you tried just uninstalling it, reinstalling it, wiping all the registry entries out? Just reinstalling it won't do it. You have to clear all the registry stuff out and do an absolute clean install. Okay, we're at 11:45, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks everybody for showing up, man. This went fast, huh? It was pretty fun. A lot of great questions and interaction. Super. Hey, I'll reach out to you, Rebecca. We get a little time to get prepped for your time next week. Yeah, you're welcome, John. Yeah, Rebecca's going to host the room for us a couple of days next week. Yeah. All right. Hey, Roger, Martin, Johnny, everybody, thanks for showing up. Good session. It's recorded. As long as it renders correctly, I'll post a recording for folks, anybody that's interested in it. And hey, trade safe. Use risk control. and I hope to see you at the next event or in the live trading room. You know, you can be there tomorrow morning if you sign up. We'll be here. And take care, and thanks. Bye.